Welcome back to Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Our guest is Wade Trimmer. He is the director of the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. Thank you so much for what you're doing for the homeless folks in our midst. You know, we know the economy is turning around, but the Census Bureau came out with a report recently. We still have 15% of Americans living below the federal poverty line. California's rate is up to almost 17%. What are you seeing on the streets, sir?
We're seeing that the poverty continues to increase. Right. And it's hitting families the hardest, and people are sleeping in their cars. That's what we're seeing. Which
is just devastating on so many levels, and it becomes a blight in neighborhoods, and then it becomes a vicious cycle. Your mission, fortunately, welcomes families.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about your mission and what you see and do to help these families.
Yeah, so families are literally coming into our shelter from their cars or from sleeping in a park. It's a safe place for them to stay. It's a chance for them to get their feet, back on the ground solidly. Right. We provide intensive case management to help them with job placement and help them really get back into their own place again.
What can be done, though, in the 21st century as it relates to job placement when you think about modern technology? Because that becomes so very frustrating in that in order to apply for a job, often you need to have an internet connection and a computer to file the application.
Right. So we have resources at our shelter where people can go online and apply for jobs. A lot of times it's helping them build a resume.
Right.
It's helping them get, sort of back into just the mainstream and get a work ethic. And, once you give somebody a job, they get their dignity back. So it's a huge piece.
Good news is the mission is growing. Tell us about this Northridge element.
Yeah, so we're excited about that because it gives us an opportunity to change even more lives. But it's a 90-bed family shelter in Northridge. We're converting a former middle school into a 90-bed
That's a nice metaphor, actually.
Yeah,
that's a really good, nice metaphor. Yeah. And so you have more than one location?
We'll continue to have the North Hollywood location,
which is what we know well,
and then expand into the Northridge location. Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about North Hollywood because that was an area that had been blighted for so long, but it's really bounced back. How do you navigate that?
There's still a lot of need in the valley, and the valley doesn't get as many resources as other sections of the city. So there's still a lot to do, and there's still a lot of balancing to do.
Right, but let's talk about what we can do because I know I've brought my kids to shelters, and they're nervous when they go, and they're happy when they leave.
Yeah,
there is something about being at a shelter that is so incredibly gratifying to the soul.
Sure, yeah, volunteering is a huge way to help. Doing a food drive, doing a clothing drive, doing a sock drive, even just dropping by and just saying, hey, can we get a tour and can we see what you're up to?
Right.
Just when our residents know that other people in the community care about them, it gives them a lot of hope, and they need that.
And I want to talk about the schools. I mentioned to you I recently moderated a panel on homeless youth, and I was amazed to learn that 3/4 of homeless youth are not in school, even though there are federal laws to protect their right to education. Right. Are you able to direct our kids at your shelter back into school?
Absolutely, and all of our kids are required to go to public school. So they're connected to schools in the community.
Right.
Then we connect with those schools and let them know about the resources that we're providing in case they have any homeless families that can come in and get shelter. But a lot of people are reticent because they don't want to get involved with the system. But there are laws to protect that.
I mean, absolutely. Whether there's documentation or a lack of documentation, these laws are really there to help the children who just want to live and take the next step.
And the schools will actually help them. The schools provide a homeless navigator to help them.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, his name is Wade Trimmer. He is the director of the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition.